Sorry, we're late. It's my fault.
Sufficient evidence that Hitler died in the bunker on April 30th, 1945.
Could Adolf Hitler have gotten out of Berlin, and how did he do it?
How did he enter Argentina?
We're going to look at who could facilitate hiding Hitler.
We need to take this out of the realm of hearsay and see what sort of technology we can bring. There are thousands of leads.
It could completely change history.
Hunting Hitler.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 2, Hunting Hitler, and it is called Nazi Lair, Secret Nazi Lair.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If anybody, for those of us on the panel who have watched it, but anybody who might have watched it, we are streaming to multiple platforms. So welcome to everybody. You guys are the best. Thank you. And of course, always a pleasure, Mr. Clifton's 3D.
Hey man, glad to be here. It was an awesome episode to watch. Looking forward to getting into it.
And of course, he is the best of us, the Cluu Channel.
What's up, everybody? Man, this episode, I ain't gonna spoil it, but that ending, makes me wonder if we got one of those in our country. I don't know. I don't know, but it's got me thinking.
Well, I'm trying to. Why is the thing being difficult? Stuff always wants to be difficult on stream. When you're trying to do a stream. So anyway, shout out to everybody. Yeah, we're actually streaming to multiple platforms. Unfortunately, not Rumble, but it will get mirrored over there. That's my fault. I was running late. I forgot I'm supposed to be on the round table at noon. So it's one of those things that I kind of digged up. So do you guys kind of while I pull it up, do you guys want to kind of start discussing how the episode kind of starts out, and then we'll get into it, because that's what's being difficult, is trying to pull the episode up. I don't know why.
Sure. Let's see. Wow, how did we start? There was so much in this episode. From finding structures out in the middle of the jungle where there are no roads. To actually get there, and you know, they had to go there by river, and it just went on to talking to the doctor who was allowed to go to Russia and examine the skull that was believed to be Hitler, to trying to talk to Eva Brown's descendants that are in Germany living right now.
Yep.
And the butler, what's his name? Linge, I think.
Yeah.
And both of them, I think it was a security guy whose name is also, the same name as his mustache man, his first name. Both of them said they saw a body, but they didn't confirm it was him.
Yeah.
They just said it was a body.
Yeah, everyone who gave a witness testimony was like, well, yeah, we heard that there was a shot and we saw a body, but the body was wrapped up and, then was burnt, and nobody actually saw it. That didn't speak of it.
And then if you watch the ending, and the guys were like, why would a man who planned all of this want to kill himself? It makes you think. Makes you think. I'm just saying.
Exactly. And I thought it was very interesting when they found the medicine bottles in the jungle structure.
Yeah, It really was because Hitler was actually known to have, and I forgot that we had this issue last time, and that's my fault too. The program that I use to broadcast these has been being wonky lately. I don't know why. So it's completely on me. Um, but yeah, so Hitler was actually known to have had stomach issues, right? Like
Yeah.
he had prominent stomach issues, and he had a very prominent doctor that went with him everywhere he went. So and I realized that I forgot to say hi to the chat. We got people lurking, which is great. Hey, go nuts! But thanks for Kathleen for commenting. It's awesome of you. It's early on a Sunday for probably a lot of people. Uh, it's early for me. I'm getting used to it again.
It's kind of late.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
what,
because you're
7:09.
it's like,
It's
like, like
1:09 over here.
yeah, it's 11:09 for me, so it's still technically morning. It throws me off not living on the west coast, the east coast of the US sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, gentlemen. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you all off. I just wanted to kind of explain. I'm a big doofus today. It's my fault.
It's all good. No, with the stomach issues, that's known, but I know at least here in Germany in schools, we often get the video like of one of Mustache Man's last uh recordings when he goes to the youth, like basically the last people in line in Berlin, where he's walking and his hand is shaking behind his back. And that is oftentimes German teachers are like, and this is why it's impossible that he escaped, because he was in such poor health, he was going to die anyway soon. And
Nah.
I
just
didn't know
because
that.
your hand is shaking after how many years of war, and then knowing that they're surrounded.
Mm-hmm. Well, he also had the syphilis. So it's one
He
reason
had
he
that
actually,
on top of the stomach issues. Damn.
yeah. Why is there an issue with me trying to connect to this freaking page? I don't understand.
Hmm.
It'll let me go to the homepage, which is super weird.
That man, that underground city, man.
Yeah.
I know, dude. I want to show it. Like this is killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
They said you could get lost. You could
Yeah.
lose. You can go down there with somebody and lose them and not be able to find them until weeks later. That's how big and massive it was.
Yeah. Now, what they didn't get into this episode, something that I learned, there was a direct tunnel from the bunker to the
Mhm.
Berlin airport.
It's always the airport. Same
Yep.
for Denver. It's always the
Uh,
airport. The airports are always connected.
Ohio.
Yep.
Yeah. Denver's airport is a whole nother thing. It says something about like, hold on.
Isn't that like a demonic type of thing going on there? Is what they were saying.
There's a lot of stories about it, the Denver airport.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Hold on. Let me try to use another fucking browser. Maybe that might be what it is.
Yeah, but
What's the name
damn,
of that
this
statue with the red eyes?
That's Lucifer.
Blue eyes. Yeah, okay. Lucifer.
Yeah, we call him Lucifer. That's not his actual name. I can't remember his actual name off the top of my head. Guys, I'm installing Chrome and thinking it might be an issue with my current browser, maybe a firewall issue, because obviously, in today's world, your browser knows what's safe for your computer better than you do. But
yeah.
it's kind of like,
Can you share QuickTime on StreamYard? Because I know you can on OBS.
QuickTime.
Like,
Oh, you talking about old school Apple? Wow, that's old school, dude.
I got QuickTime on this Apple.
Is that that was a movie player, right?
Yeah, it plays.
Yeah, no,
various codecs of video.
Yeah, if I had the codec, it would actually work. But the thing is that I don't.
The
I'm
PC
just going
version
to
is VLC. It plays everything.
just skip. Just go to the Yeah, I got it. I know how to use it. Thank you. Like, I need a tutorial. these companies that treat you like your children, which kind of lends to today's the credence of today's world of like how they treat you like children.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so let's.
Put on your mask.
Hey,
guys.
you put.
Let's put
Oh
on
my
our
God.
mask.
I saw somebody while I was going to get food with a mask on. I'm not joking. That's not a joke. They had their window down too, and they were bopping to music. And I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. Great. Fun.
You didn't get 2 years of breathing in carbon dioxide wasn't enough for you. You got to go for a third year. Jeez.
Yeah.
I have no hope for this American humanity anymore.
Oh,
I don't
well,
either.
Germany, it's worse.
And then they got a
You were-
mask on their mouth, but their nose is out there. Like, what's the point?
Yeah, that's also one of those things. But in
Okay,
Germany,
guys.
you were
Sorry, hold
forced
on.
to get experimental.
I got one last trick up my sleeve.
All
Maybe if I
right.
share
I am still a pure blood and proud of it.
But
Unfortunately, I'm not.
Mm.
I hadn't my ex. I mean, I'll say I'm mostly. I only got like one jab, but it was enough that like I'm kind of pissed off because my ex was going through cancer treatment. You know, and you're at that stage where you think you guys are gonna get married and be together forever, and then so she got it too. She didn't want to do it either. Her doctor was like, "Well, it's probably for the best," and she's like, "Okay." And then of course I was the one who had to kind of take care of her after the procedure because she had and so no, I'm not super thrilled about that, but I'm not. There it is. If you share the direct link to yourself, good job, Ryan. Yay, applause for me.
Hey,
You guys are like,
Hercules.
you guys are like loser. I'll blame you. I was thinking the same thing.
but man, before we start, you put out a video that Shadu made.
Yeah, Shadu did make that video. I think he did a great job. He's going to be doing more stuff for the History Channel. And yeah, I liked what he did. It seemed to be a pretty positive response. So I'm glad he did that. And if he keeps doing it for me, and one day, this channel becomes successful, I'll pay him for his services. I mean, the kid, I think the kid did great. I like how he started with a joke, pretending like he is me. And he's like, all right, I'm done with the joke. Okay. So I'm loading the episode, so we should be good. Here we go. We're back on track, ladies and gentlemen, back on track.
All right, who's ready for this?
Let's go.
I am, because people actually want to see this instead of
Y'all
necessarily.
still think
they
committed suicide?
no.
Chat. Y'all still
They,
think
they,
he
they
committed
come for our
suicide?
commentary, but they also don't want to hear us blather on while I try to fix this.
Where we are in Argentina, on this shore, I can look across and see Paraguay. Want to go to Brazil? I just go a little bit up this river right here. I'm in Brazil. It's perfect. I'm looking for one thing, places where Nazis can go hide. One in particular. Here we are in northern Argentina, and we have found just that. The perfect hiding spot for a Nazi on the run.
In 2014, an executive order released over death
We'll skip past this real quick because it's
Into the death of-
just the intro. Kind of. Well, it's a reintroduction of what we already kind of know.
Yeah. No, but I mean, if you think about it, that is probably one of the best spots you could be in. Like, let's say you're in Argentina and Argentina somehow decides, you know what, we're going to go after these bastards. Just hop on over to Brazil. You're out of the way.
Yep. The river. Yep.
Yeah, you're literally out of the way. It's kind of crazy that it happens so quickly. And okay, I think I found where we need to be. Stop goofing around. Sometimes the player goofs on you a little bit too. All right, here we go.
a safe
Hey,
haven
Wade.
for Nazis on the run.
What's up, Wade?
Of course he's
Good
awesome.
buddy.
Of course, we know that. We know that.
This would have
Clifton
been
is
way
awesome.
out of town.
After driving through the night, Tim and Philip reach base camp.
Hello, Daniel.
Archaeologist Daniel Shavelson is director of the dig and responsible for dating this site to the 1940s. Tim and his crew will be the first outsiders to investigate.
What we are trying to do is to understand who was living there, what the purpose of the buildings, when the building was in use.
Does this stuff tell you anything?
All the objects on the excavation, all is 20th century.
A lot of these cans seem to be the same size. I don't know if these are sardines.
Canned rations.
Or what.
Sardinas, corned beef, milk.
From my perspective, when you have a hideout, it's pre-positioned and planned. And you would find stuff like this
Ready
that's
to
sitting
eat.
there that's ready
Yeah.
to be used.
Yeah.
This was all canned food,
Yep.
canned meats. Whoever lived here could have lived off that food for a long period of time.
Daniel shows the team the newest discovery, recovered from the site just a few days ago.
This is a box made 1940. It's engraved. And we found inside the wall, we was lucky to find it. Inside there are several things. Here we have the coins. This is very interesting.
There we go.
That's swastika.
There it is.
I mean, it's cool to find something like that. I'm not, I don't think it's necessarily means that this was a Yahtzee hideout. Just because there were a lot of Germans in the area, they would.
True, that is very.
Could be
that is
just
very-
it could be just a prepper, survivalist.
I mean, if I'm assuming that's most likely an actual gold coin. So I mean, you could be, somebody who has the intent to melt it down or something like that. It's just one of those things that it's very unusual, right?
Yeah,
it's not a smoking gun. It's not like there he was. It's just extremely unusual.
Swastika.
There you are. A Nazi coin. Yeah. From the period of the Third Reich.
Oh my God. See a Nazi coin, takes your breath away. The swastika, even now, is so powerful, and finding this coin is an indication that Nazis were living here. We have a kid wearing a Nazi uniform with a swastika on his arm.
It's an incredible picture. And if you see the other thing, that's the picture.
Oh.
And we just have Hitler and Mussolini taking a stroll. Without a doubt, this is forensic evidence that there were Nazis here. After seeing that, I want to get on that property so bad. I want to understand what was going on there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The next morning, Tim, Philip, and Daniel hike deep into the jungle to investigate the compound.
I'm coming to this site with a bunch of questions. I want to know who built this complex. Why did they build this complex? If I get these questions answered, I can discern if it was possible a high-level Nazi could have come here.
And this compound is crazy.
An
Look at this.
impressive construction
is.
in the middle of the jungle, made by stones. Look at that.
Yeah, like even going
That's
to the
door,
trouble to make
and you have
actual
a veranda.
windows.
What's
Yes.
the purpose of a veranda in the middle
Well-
of the jungle?
It's very cosmetic.
They also made something else too, as we'll find out. There's a little bit of fanciness there.
Cosmopolitan.
This is the kind of entrance you might see to a house in Europe.
For sure, it's not made by a local architect.
This is majorly labor-intensive to build this.
The choice of material indicates that. So if you wanted to build something quick and cheap, you would use wood or bricks. But here they've actually quarried stone. It's a lot more work than shipping bricks here.
Oh, absolutely. But if you buy a great amount of bricks at the city, everyone know it.
Yeah.
But the 2 or 3, 4 people working in the middle of the jungle, nobody knows. We have 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, a restroom, and the remains of the original floor. Blue and yellow tiles. See the yellow?
That's fancy.
Yep.
That's weirdly fancy.
Germans, you know, they gotta be
It's too much floor for a jungle house. Whoa. It's a real modern restroom. That's the place for the toilet side.
That's a reservoir for the tank.
For the tank. And here you have for toilet paper. It's too much work.
This is ornate. Dude, look at this.
Wow, look at that. The tiles are glass tiles.
This is weird. It is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house in the middle of the freaking jungle.
Wait, you're telling me you can't find
Adolf
glass
Hitler
tiles
was
in the
known
middle
for
of the
his
jungle?
opulence.
Yeah.
I don't think
Right?
1943. Reports that at the height of the war, Hitler had a plane delivering asparagus and bonbons to him on a daily basis from Paris, and set up 10 intricately built headquarters throughout Europe, with his private Berghof residence in Bavaria adorned with rare marble and priceless antique furniture.
We know there were Nazis here, and this house.
Oh, why is it buffering? It was doing so good. Sometimes it just wants to be a pain in the butt.
Yeah, typical. But yeah, man, the story about the asparagus and bonbons, I didn't know about that. That's crazy.
I didn't either until I
Having
had
them
watched this.
fly out daily.
Like you're talking about, like, this guy is so bougie that he needs his, like, wow. Yeah, I mean, it just he's so wants this accustomed life. It's crazy.
Yeah.
blue and yellow tile.
Yeah.
In
yeah.
an escape bunker, not your house, but an escape bunker.
Yeah.
Out in
Pretty
the
much.
jungle. It's like, oh, you know, I did it so I can invite my friends over so they can see.
Yeah, you're not gonna be. I mean, you're not gonna be inviting friends. You know, obviously, the only friends you're gonna be inviting over are fellow, let's say, comrades.
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's so it's to find out that he had a plane every single day. You know, and that's how wealthy the Third Reich, excuse me, was. Sorry, my apologies. My apologies. That's how wealthy the Third Reich was, is that they could just throw money away. They're like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Right. And they were
we talked about it last stream about all the
blow my
freaking
nose real quick.
treasures and everything that they hoarded and you know actually went after to find and get. It's crazy.
Yeah, this guy.
Sorry, had to you know, do a little personal grooming here.
I think more planning went into.
I don't have a cold, but
after the war than before. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Well, it really kind of seems to me that they had all their bases covered from whether they win or lose. They knew what they were going to do, which is crazy, which is really crazy.
We're onto something. This compound in Misiones is turning out to be something important.
CIA veteran Bob Baer and war crimes investigator John Sensich are reviewing the findings from the jungles of Misiones, where a declassified FBI document has led the team to a mysterious Nazi compound in northern Argentina.
Who builds a tiled bath?
I just realized I have my usual background. For people on my history channel that don't know, please don't ask. Let me just change it, and we'll.
He's a Swiftie.
It's not that hard to understand that you're a Swiftie.
I don't like you guys right now. None of us are friends.
You know what? It's nothing to be ashamed of. It
Yeah.
happens to the best of us.
Well, it's a long inside joke, and like I don't know if anybody's. They'll be like, he's like, huh? I gotta change my name. Wow, the hopping between streams.
Rome, in the middle of the jungle.
If we were
Trying to
talking
be so
about
respectable
the
over here.
1970s and the 1980s, we're going to be looking at some drug dealers. But here, back in the 1940s, it doesn't fit.
What kind of Nazi withdraws deep into the jungle, into a fortified compound, and this opulence, except somebody very important?
Misiones is extremely interesting because if you're protecting Adolf Hitler, he's not going to show up and stay at the local hotel. And to find a facility in the Argentine jungle tied to Nazi Germany is huge. It gives a
Yeah,
lot of
more
validity to the
respectable
FBI
again.
reports.
With evidence from Misiones now supporting the FBI files, the team consider opening a new front in their investigation.
We need parallel inquiries. We need Tim Kennedy to continue.
Also, real quick, I didn't get a chance to say this earlier. Kind of got wrapped up in Railway Nation Gaming says he's close to 1.2K. That's awesome, man. Congratulations, dude. Seriously.
Definitely. Get him those 20 more subs.
Yeah. JT says, "Do you all have sleep?"
What's
no.
that? What is that?
I actually did sleep in today. I slept until like 7:45, which is like an hour later than I usually get up. So JT's like, Kathleen says, "Nice background, Ryan." I'm assuming you mean the first one, or you could mean this one too. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't, but it's but Zeron, real quick, it had a little bit longer message. Did y'all know that several ex-Nazi generals served in the NBA, aka East German National People's Army, and they kept their Wehrmacht, Wehrmacht, marked? Clifton, help.
Wehrmacht.
Thank you, Clifton.
It's spelled wrong, but yeah, you know.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I haven't taken German in decades. I used to be able to speak it, and where Clifton and I could actually have a fluent conversation, but now I'm just an American idiot. Uniforms of Nazi Germany, and also kept the Prussian doctrine. Interesting. I didn't know that. Well, there's a lot of stuff going around we didn't know.
Digging in South America, but the other part of this equation is what happened in the Fuhrer bunker in Berlin leading up to the April 30th, 1945.
I totally agree with you. We simply go back and re-examine Berlin, and that's what really interests me. Could he have faked his death or not?
There's two sources of evidence that we want to take a look at.
Two main sources have been used throughout history to determine that Hitler committed suicide in his bunker. Source 1. Testimonies from members of the Nazi inner circle all claim that Hitler and Eva Braun took poison and then Hitler shot himself before their bodies were wrapped in blankets, carried out of the bunker and burned. Source 2.
Well, that's just the most reliable testimony right there. I mean, case closed. That's like trusting the fact that the FBI said that those two guys wanted to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah.
And then come to find out the other 14 dudes were all FBI informants. So congrats on that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about here? Like,
official reports from the Soviet troops who stormed Hitler's bunker and controlled the crime scene, along with all forensic evidence.
I want to get Lenny DePaul on the ground in Berlin to look at both sources. Former U.S.
well, the Soviets, that's just like the Democrats backing the FBI up in said case, right? Like, and the only reason that I'm making these jokes, and yes, they are jokes to a certain extent, but they also actually did happen, right? You can't necessarily trust in history the official story every single time, and history teaches you that throughout all of it. And that's one thing that history is good at doing, is if you don't learn from history, it's that SpongeBob meme. How many times do we have to teach you this, old man? Like, and it's true. It's very true. And we're seeing some ramifications of history not learned in today's society. You know, there are kids that run around who call people, you know, well, doing good, Zeron, doing great. I hope you're doing good, man.
Doing all right.
And it's also nice the fact that Clifton's here because he never sleeps. So appreciate him for that. He comes out at weird hours just to be on the show. You know, and it's one of those things that, you know, kids run around calling people, you know, I made a just a based, not based. I don't like word based. I made a just a mild, that's what I was going for, mild take about, you know, a Disney movie flopping. And somebody's response is like going, "Oh, you must be a not, you know, basically, you must be a Nazi." And I'm like, they literally called me a Nazi. But, you know, I forgot how they phrased it. It's been a while, but I was like, okay, like that's where we go. We're going with this.
I mean, the word, it doesn't mean anything anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't. No.
Trump can be. You can be because you said something that about Disney that the guy doesn't agree with. That makes you that. It means nothing.
And
just like the R word and all that. It means nothing.
Yeah.
And look, all of us here cover pop culture. We cover some political stuff like that. Like we're not here to push our politics or our ideology on anybody else. That's not the way it is. We're here to talk about history because we need to learn from history or we're doomed to repeat it. And we are repeating a lot of what we have not learned. And it's only been within probably the last, I would say probably the last 15 years that things have gotten worse of us not actually learning from history. So that's why we're actually doing this. Also, it's a great show, but because the word Nazi means something. Calling somebody Hitler-like means something. It means disgusting things.
It should. It just has there's nothing behind it anymore. Sadly.
Yeah, there's not. Taking us out of it is JT says Ryan is a poopy head, a really big one. I don't disagree. Andy Pickle says Schadenfreude.
Yeah,
I said that right?
Yeah, Schadenfreude. Yeah,
Schadenfreude. Yeah, you gotta
do the LR.
Yeah, R2 says I cover my ass. What does that mean? I hope you do in public. Don't take a bucket in public like I made the mistake of doing one time and then telling the story. We lost a viewer over that.
Marshall, he's done this, manhunts, and if he can establish that he did die in the bunker, this investigation's over, of course.
Right.
All right, so we're going to Berlin. Berlin.
Lenny DePaul, one of the most skilled manhunters in the world, makes his way through a Nazi bunker built in 1942.
All of a sudden, really?
I was the commander of over 380 full-time investigators. We were mandated by the United States Congress to go after the most violent felony fugitives around the world. If somebody's on the run, we're the ones that chase them. The first step in any investigation where somebody has allegedly killed themselves is to find out if, in fact, they did do that. I've had fugitives drive cars off of bridges, not even being in them. If you can prove to me that Hitler committed suicide on that day, then I pack up and go home. If not, I continue this investigation.
Lenny will
I
begin
like
his
this guy.
investigation with the first source used to confirm.
Andy Pickle said, this is from last night. Ich bin ein Berliner with sprinkles.
Yep.
Clifton, what is your stance on Berliner with sprinkles?
I've never had them with sprinkles on them.
You
can put powdered sugar on it.
I mean, I think raspberry filled with powdered sugar is good.
Yeah.
And I'm not a huge donut fan. I'm really not.
It's not really a donut.
Yeah, it's kind of a pastry. It's different. It's because it's not circle, right? You know, it needs to be a donut has a hole taken out of it. So we get donut holes. Zero says, yeah, good example is Putin invasion of Ukraine. Most Putin's cronies are literally spouting. Yeah, no, I mean and the Nazis actually perfected propaganda to the ultimate. Like, I mean, it's what the Russians have used. Well, the Soviet Union used, of course. Now Russia uses, and North Korea, China, like. Even in our society today, there's propaganda, and it's because the media can spout it, and people will believe it.
Yeah. Sadly,
and it all started with the best of them. Anyway, I'll actually everybody's links in the description, by the way, of both my channels, Legion Talk, which probably the majority of you are on. Also. Click the link to Legion Teaches History. That's where we're going to be doing these. I'm probably going to push the goalpost a little bit, maybe 5 episodes or half the first season, just to kind of, because getting a small channel off the ground is not easy, and I want everybody to be able to enjoy this.
I'm a sub right quick.
But so Clifton's links are in there, Clue's links are in there, Shadow's links are in there, and Larry's links are in there because they all want to be a part of this too. And we might slowly add 1 or 2 other people who want to be a part of this, because I think this is a great cause and this is a great documentary series.
Confirmed Hitler's suicide. The eyewitness accounts.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But 7 decades later, all of these witnesses are dead. So
Yes, they
Lenny has
did.
reached out to Sasha Kyle, chairman of Berlin Underworld, an organization that preserves the rarely seen archives from the Third Reich.
What I'm looking for.
Just real quick, JT. Yes, it's onlyfans.com/legion bends over. That's right. That's what it is. It's not. It's just no OnlyFans there. Even though one time I did have a girl tell me that I should start an feed finder, and I was like, I don't think anybody wants that.
I thought it was only feet.
What is it? Feedfinder.com or only? I don't know. I really don't know. R2 says the pitchfork she stole from the Swedish father-in-law after marrying my grandmother. Maybe not two sides of the same coin, but they were, yeah. Much appreciated, sir. So anyway, no, that's Dermies. Get out of here with that. It's Cake Smashers, Ryan. Cake Smash. I don't want to know. Well, I don't eat cake, so it's not my problem.
His eyewitnesses,
I don't
anybody in his inner circle that could positively ID the body of Hitler.
Yes, if we can find them in the database.
Okay.
And we put in all the documents of, for example, Michael Masmano.
After the Nuremberg trials, Michael Masmano, one of the ruling judges, conducted interviews with over 200 members of Hitler's inner circle, many of whom claimed to be witness to his final days.
Most important question was ours. Is Hitler still alive? Could he escape?
Wow.
And it's all collected in this database. We worked on this topic for many years, but this tool is new.
No. Are you serious? Look, I know it sounds really gross, but if I could get my hands on an MP a World War II MP40, I without question. You can buy replicas for like a couple $1,000s, but if you get an actual World War II functioning MP40, they cost you somewhere in the neighborhood. I mean, it's a truck. It's a brand new fully loaded truck of like $70,000 to $80,000. It's insane. And this is one of those shows too that I'm so fascinated by the Third Reich, and the reason is because they almost took over the world, and that's not a joke. And you'll find out as we finish these 3 seasons, it wasn't like they almost took over the world by this much. It was like by this much.
Yeah.
It was by this much. And
there's so much in the whole history of it. You know, you can cover it forever.
Yeah, if you want to probably name one of the most powerful empires on the history of this planet, it is the Third Reich. And that's really scary.
That shit, yeah, I was gonna say that shit's scary.
That's scary.
Be that close.
Yeah. And we're not even to some of the most scary facts. We'll get there. I need to stop talking though.
Sasha is the first person to have compiled the hundreds of testimonies into a searchable database.
Which words you need?
Let's search for body, dead, identity.
Searching.
Look at that. Okay. We got some heads. Okay.
Looks good.
Did Linga say he was actually present when Hitler took the poison? No. Who's Linga?
Linga was his personal butler of Hitler, and he was, during the whole wartime, the first person he saw at the morning.
He's an important guy.
One of the most important eyewitnesses.
So Linga can't say that he was present when Hitler took the poison. I don't buy it. Can I see the next one?
Yeah.
Who's,
I'm sharing everybody's links that's on the panel right now. Please subscribe to them.
Linga carried Hitler's body upstairs and outside, and Kemke carried the body of Eva Braun. She was wrapped up too. That is why Kemke could not tell whether he really had seen that Hitler was dead, because he had not seen the body. All right, so basically what Jakobek is saying is he's getting it as a third-party person. It's hearsay. Wow. Can I see the next one? Here we go again. Gestapo member Herk Mansfeld, he could recognize the body as being that of a man, but could not be certain it was Hitler. He couldn't even tell himself because he hadn't seen the body. That's his testimony.
No one did.
You know what, Sasha, nobody's really identifying either one of them because they can't see him. They're wrapped up in blankets. Nobody sees his face and said, that's him, unless it wasn't Hitler.
It's easy to say he is, but no one can prove.
That's my whole point. No one can prove it. There's no evidence. There's nothing that points to either Eva Braun or Adolf Hitler.
That's a problem.
If it wasn't Hitler or Eva Braun, who do you think this body was?
In a dictatorship, it's a common instrument to have doubles.
You had guys like Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden.
He had 10 different body doubles. So it very well could be that the body that was wrapped up in that blanket was not him. No one could positively identify Adolf Hitler as the person being rolled up in that carpet and being taken away by the Russians. Nobody. So at this point, it's an open case.
Lenny's found reports from these eyewitnesses, but nothing firsthand.
Bob Baer and John Sensich review the findings from both areas of their investigation, the Nazi compound and eyewitness testimonies from Berlin that were used to verify Adolf Hitler's death.
There's nobody that actually
Oh, don't do it now.
at the
There it goes.
body and said, yeah, that's
Streaming woes.
Adolf Hitler.
I will punch you
In the throat.
in the screen. That's kind of the equivalent for a computer, right? A face, screen, space.
Possibly, but you know,
nothing first.
there's been YouTubers
Bob
out
Baer
there
and
who've
John
done that.
Sensich review the findings from
My favorite clip is still when Gary threw the head of the one thing, and he's like, oh, it's like,
Yeah.
I just broke my monitor, and he's like, well, and that's okay, that's why the codec actually kind of gave out. It happens from time to time.
Do you get a lot of pop-ups when you go to that website? that
Yes,
hosts the
because
movie?
it's because you're sailing the high seas. It's one reason I use a VPN, and I have an incredible antivirus and pretty much everything under the sun.
Yep, you definitely need that.
Sometimes when you sail the high seas, you gotta bring an extra cannon or two. Archie says Ryan is like the History Channel stream is being and let's see. Can you not actually say that? And oh no, I think somebody else actually did say. Yeah, it was Xeron who said it previously. You're actually allowed to say that.
But the previous comment is also, yeah. Another interesting fact, in the Western German government, a lot of World War II generals were allowed to keep all medals and ribbons as long as they got it all. And he wrote Nazi symbols. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's not.
Like of course Xeron used it right the first time.
Possibly. But
Also,
yeah, they did that because but not just the generals, like soldiers in general were allowed to keep their medals and stuff. Because back then we had a different mentality. You served your country, and it was normal that there was wars. At the end of the day, whoever loses was, the bad guy. And a lot of soldiers, they did their duty. And that's why
history is always written by the victors.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, there's also a lot of World War I statues and everything honoring the soldiers who fought and died in World War I. You kind of, you do want to honor them in some way, but you can still recognize the evil things that happened.
Agreed.
This might be a dumb question, but it's not. Do you think Hitler was a bad guy?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I do. He's a little bit different because he was the one driving the ideology, right? He's the one who all of a sudden the site is actually not working again. Like, that's so weird.
I mean,
active time. That's odd.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that he wasn't the only one driving that ideology. There were a lot of people.
Oh yeah, no,
this idea. In fact, I saw there's a documentary on Netflix right now, The Inner Circle.
Mm-hmm.
of the Third Reich, and
It's made up
So-
mostly of people of the SS.
yeah, and but there were a lot of people who subscribed to those ideologies, but yeah, definitely would say, because he was the one saying, no, we're going to go this way.
Just saw that, by the way. You have to take meds when you have a VPN, or is it just an ointment? It's actually both. You have to alternate.
Yeah, but a couple of weeks ago on my Monday stream, we had Shadu on, and was everything he did for Germany bad? No. I mean, we got the Autobahn, we got
medical breakthroughs.
Yeah, but still, and not always in a good way is how he went about it. So, yeah, I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, you have to kind of take the good with the bad, and that really kind of sucks. And that's what I'm not a big fan of Kanye West, right? I don't listen to his music. I don't care.
Yeah.
But when he made a certain statement, which I'm not going to repeat because it's that outlandish, right?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
He meant something different by it, but when you don't clarify or maybe just not say it in general, just say maybe he did some good, that Mr. Mustache Man did some good things for the German economy. He also did some things that are not so cool. A lot of things are not really cool. So you have to be objectionable when you're an academic. You have to be objectionable when you're talking about history. That's the way it is. And Andy says real quick, Hitler was extremely disturbed, but also focused. It was a time where the whole world was in the biggest economic depression, especially Germany, since they were screwed by. Yes, they really were. They really were. And that was not Germany's fault. What happened in World War I, right? It was it should have been handled very differently, and it wasn't. And Germany took the brunt of it. The German citizens took the brunt of it and made it where it rivaled the Great Depression, like what was going on there. That's not fair. That's not fair, right? Because they were human beings too. They just happened to be on the wrong side of the war.
Yeah. And then in the United States, we had the crash. So even, I mean, the United States, they saw, okay, we need to help build up Germany so that shit like that doesn't happen. But then they fell into the shithole and we're like, yeah, we can't help you right now. And really a lot of the policies at the time in Germany were driven from the French, and the French really hated the Germans. Really, they still hadn't forgiven the Germans for winning the German-Franco war long before World War I. So
well, and on top of that too, no offense, the French have kind of been grumpy for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Andy says our own president refused to sign the Treaty of Versailles. They held Germany financially responsible for the war. See how we treated Japan post World War II. Yes. Yep. Well, we also treated Germany post World War II differently. We actually stayed there and had a presence in the country to help them become economically stable again. The United States was instrumental in that.
We bought their cars. Germans have nice cars.
They got nice cars.
Even today, the city that's close to me, there were Americans stationed there, and the city was a boom town. It's known as the metropolitan of shoe industry. The Americans left the city, it's gone downhill. So even to today, when
they were talking about when they were talking about closing all those military bases in Germany, the actual Germans freaked out. They're like, no. Like, no, please don't leave. Like, they didn't want us to leave.
Yep. Exactly.
And this is somebody who was stationed in Germany for 3 years. I lived there in Heidelberg for 3 years. Like, and I highly enjoyed it. It's not the same anymore, and that's really sad. But no, they did not want us to leave.
Nope.
Okay, so I got things working again.
All right.
Maybe. I mean, it's back up, but now it's just spinning. It just wants to be difficult today. I think it's because it's a Sunday and everybody's bandwidth is like out of control, right? You know, everything's being pulled in different directions.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not living in a highly populated area, really, that might be part of the problem because it's not going to be as reliable. So we're moving on to the Tim Kennedy. What's up?
Now, our two Yahtzee Germany invented Fanta. Yeah, not only Fanta, they invented a whole bunch of stuff. You like your
Who
Hugo?
really invented Fanta?
Yeah, Fanta's a German thing.
Oh, I knew it was that. I like the regular Fanta. Grape and strawberry, not so much.
I rather prefer grape because I like that artificial taste.
Sounds so convincing.
Yeah.
Clifton, why? Why would you be like this?
Because I like artificial grape soda.
Why would you be like this, Clifton? Okay, so we're getting back to it. So where we're picking up is Tim is actually Mr. Tim Kennedy. He's hiked all the way up the hill to try to figure out where they got these stones. Oh no, I know.
An observation post.
I know.
Cross.
Dude. And this is a real quick story, and then I'll shut up. There was a place near Patton Barracks in Heidelberg, Germany, and it was called Liberty Pizza, and it was the Domino's symbol, but instead of having the little white dots. In the red, it had the Statue of Liberty, and in the blue, it had the stars of the American flag. It is the best damn pizza. I think COVID killed them. It makes my heart sad. I wrestle in Germany. I don't know what you're getting at there, but I'm not going to ask.
Really, what I stumbled on was far more important. One of the questions that we had coming to the site, these are gigantic buildings with a ton of stone. Where did they get the stone from, and how did they get it to this site? This looks like chisel marks. This has to be on the rock quarry. Cut there, chisel here, got your stone. When you see a chisel mark at a right angle to a horizontal line, it brings your attention to it. They took a chunk of stone off right here, and right here. We'll find a whole bunch more chisel tool marks, just like this, and this, and this, and that, and this. Oh man, look at this. Sit on top of it. We have a perfect rectangle. The big question is, how do you transport them? How do you get them from here to your building site? They didn't get them out the way I came in. Oh, well. How do they do it without anybody knowing? Did it right here. You roll them downhill.
Submarine?
Have a boat.
A few, yes.
Transport them around the river.
They like the American guys.
Right to
I'll
your
tell you
building
what.
site. This could have been completely built in secret. It's a horrible thought, but you're gonna tie up loose ends. The workers have to go too. Hell, Saddam did it. He'd build a palace, have a safe room, and the contractors that built it, they just disappeared. We're in the middle of the jungle. It's not hard to hide a body here.
Nobody would know.
Nope, not at all.
Deep in the Argentinian jungle, the team are following up on a declassified FBI report that could place
believe it
Hitler
or not,
at a
people are
suspected
not very
Nazi
forthcoming
refuge
about
months after he was believed to have died.
that kind of activity in their
While
family.
Tim Kennedy searches a quarry to determine how the site
It's a little bit of a black eye.
could have been constructed in secret.
Big black eye.
Philip Kiernan joins a team of archaeologists to investigate the purpose of building number 2. which has baffled experts for years.
Based on the finds that Daniel tells me he's recovered in house number 2, fragments of iron tools, it seems much more likely that we're dealing here with a workshop than a domestic structure.
After days of inspecting the site, the team have a breakthrough and discover something crucial.
Here is tunnel.
Wow. Wow, it goes at least 8-9 feet back. It's clear there's a tunnel underneath the house, and it occurred to me it must be some kind of drainage feature, a feature for moving water. The water input seems to be here. Entered the building through this hole, and it looks like the water is almost flowing into there. So if this theory is right, so the water is flowing in here, and then into this hole, and then it should be coming out down there. As I thought about it more and more, it occurred to me that this tunnel was leading water from a higher point behind the house, through the house, and out. What purpose could that be for? I think we're looking at a mill, something that uses the power of water to turn a wheel to generate electricity. Big question, of course, is where did that water come from? The next thing to do is to go up the hill to see where in a straight line that water might be coming from.
As Philip climbs in a straight line, he's led towards building number 3, near the peak of the mountain.
That's the real beginning.
I don't know
That
what is
looks
up with
very
the sneezing.
Might be that there was a metal tank in this room that filled up with water, and then the mechanical force of gravity is being used to speed up water to reach the mill down below.
Philip believes rainwater would collect in building number 3 and flow through a series of tunnels downhill to building number 2, where the water would turn a large mill wheel, creating a reliable source of electricity, which was off-grid.
This isn't the kind of technology one would expect to find out in the middle of the jungle. This site is producing a heck of a lot of finds.
If they have power and
There
batteries,
have been a combination of windmills
big
too.
checks regarding the feasibility of this being a real hideout location for somebody on the run. Looking at this compound, they had everything they needed to be completely self-sufficient. They had canned food. They sourced their materials from right here so that they didn't have to buy them. Has running water, so they might have electricity. It is pristinely designed to hide a high-value target.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it really is.
I didn't consider that they're gonna need power if they're way out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. If you're gonna have an actual bathroom, you're gonna need to have like power. Like it's gonna be that kind of bougie.
There are reports that Adolf Hitler suffered from severe stomach cramps and digestive problems. In 1943, a secret US military document stated Hitler was in fairly good health, except for his stomach ailment. And a diary from Hitler's physician reported that his abdominal pain was the strongest affliction of his whole life.
Here is a pharmaceutical vial.
I can't even believe I'm seeing this.
Hitler has a serious ailment, and stockpiles of medicine for that type of problem are found in this building in Misiones. It's something that you certainly can't cast your eye away from.
For me, it's a huge breakthrough. We are just simply looking at the possibility if the Nazis had moved him from Germany, could they have hidden him in Argentina and taken care of his health problems and his security? And the Misiones compound says yes.
I mean,
in Misiones,
imagine how many high-ranking German officials would have had the same stomach ailment and try to get away in Argentina.
Probably not that many.
Yeah.
Seems pretty rare to me.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those rare go around the blocks there. It's kind of like it's pretty big coincidence. All right, so we're actually getting to the skull now.
Yeah, cool.
The skull, they alleged, was Hitler's under lock and key until 2009, when the first and only American scientist, Dr. Nicholas Bellatoni, was granted access. Using DNA analysis, he determined the skull belonged to a woman in her 30s.
Could have been Eva Braun's. We don't know. It's female, right age. But if we could prove that was her DNA, we are now in a position to say we don't have a clue what happened to Hitler.
Okay, so let's call Nick.
We need forensic science to help make this picture clearer, and he's our only hope.
So you went to Russia, huh?
We did have an opportunity to examine the cranial vault fragment that they believed was Adolf Hitler, but the cranium was actually housed in a Rolodex container, and it had been jostled by movement, and it was charred. You could see the black scorching around the edges, and it had an exit bullet wound coming out the back of the head.
There was an exit wound.
It was clearly an exit wound, absolutely.
You think it was Eva Braun's skull?
You know, Eva Braun clearly fits the profile. The only contradiction would be the interrogations of the Germans that were in the bunker who don't refer to her being shot, but do refer to Adolf Hitler as being shot.
Now, if we had a sample from a living relative of Eva Braun, would we come closer to identifying whether or not the skull was indeed Eva Braun's?
Yeah, wouldn't that be exciting to be able to try to match that up? And if new samples were available, that would just be great.
So skipping ahead just a smidgen because some of this is filler. There is a living relative still alive.
Yep.
Let's just say I get where she's coming from, and we're gonna get to that scene.
Yeah.
So here it is.
Guten Abend, entschuldigen Sie bitte die Störung. Mein Name ist Schlendrich. Haben Sie eine Minute Zeit für mich? Ja. Wir machen eine Untersuchung. Es geht um Eva Braun.
Wir sind die nächste Generation. Ja. Wir sind nach dem Krieg geboren, wir haben das alles mitbekommen. Ja. Und für uns ist jetzt das abgeschlossen.
It's a no-go.
Yeah. Any luck?
Bad news. She refused to give me any information.
Oh, no.
It was very clear for me after a couple of minutes that the family would really like to end with all that. Not to talk about their history, not to talk about the relationship to Eva Braun. I was not so happy with it, but I think we have to respect that.
She's the only living relative? It's the only shot we have?
Absolutely, the only one.
So the forensics window is shut. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah.
No more living relatives?
For here and for Germany, yes, unfortunately.
It's too bad that Stefan was not successful in drawing any DNA, but he did it right. He respected her thoughts and her family's decision, and we're moving on. Well, we're going to have to go down another road. We got to figure something out.
I mean, that's a tough loss right there on that one, but it's like, you know, and I think Clifton, you can allude to this. This is something that is extremely sensitive to this day.
Yeah, people don't want to talk about being connected to World War II at all. I had a neighbor growing up when I was still a kid here in Germany. He saw the tail end of World War I. He would talk about that, you know. He would talk about World War I. But he never talked about World War II.
Yeah, it's kind of a massive. Yeah, it's not even a black eye. It's basically a plague that they wish they could forget.
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of get it that this woman doesn't want, you know, just leave me alone with it. A part of me is like, how would I act in a situation like that? Like, part of me is like, I would want the history to come out, the truth, the facts. But then imagine they got her DNA and they went and figured out the skull that the Russians have is indeed Eva Braun and not Mustache Man.
Be kind of a big problem.
She would be in the news
Oh, she would be
24/7.
flooded.
Yeah.
Flooded. Her life would be over.
Yeah, exactly.
She would have no life because her house would be surrounded constantly of parasites looking for a quote.
Yeah. I mean, I would in a case like that, I would probably be like, I may write something in my will, like once I die, you know, take a DNA sample, figure this stuff out once
Yeah,
I'm no
maybe.
longer here.
I mean, if she doesn't have kids, yeah, which it seemed as she didn't. She was the only living relative. It's just crazy.
Firefights and around a lot of war. It would be very difficult for Adolf Hitler to get out of Berlin. The problem, of course, is we don't have the crime scene anymore.
In 1999, Hitler's Führer bunker was filled in, paved over, and turned into a car park, destroying any remaining evidence of Hitler's possible escape.
In any criminal investigation, it's always best to go back to the scene of the crime. In this case, we can't do it, but we have access to the next best thing. That's the forensic reconstruction of the Führer bunker.
Forensic historian and 3D artist Christoph Neubauer has spent a decade scouring historical evidence to create the world's most accurate simulation of Hitler's bunker.
It's based upon looking at documents, interviewing eyewitnesses, all of this put together, synthesized, distilled, made into 3D images, allowed us to peer in to the bowels of the Führer bunker.
You never want a bunker to become a prison. You always want to have an escape route. The escape route clearly couldn't be across Berlin in a car. It just, you can't make it. Even a tank, you couldn't make it at that point. So what you want to do is, like any sort of rodent, you want to go underground and appear someplace else.
There's a massive web of tunnels that are underneath Berlin that go in all different directions. There's 4 exits to the Führer bunker. What intrigues me the most are exits number 2 and 4. They both make their way to underground tunnels. What we need to do now really is to get Lenny DePaul over there. Is there a way for him to get out of Berlin via this massive web of tunnels?
Yep, I like it.
This is it? Right here?
That's the entrance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Please help me here.
To give Lenny and I
Is it open to the...
We'll jump forward to the actual tunnel because, like, when they climb down, this thing is crazy looking.
Wow. Woo. That's quite a drop. Oh my God, look at this. Look at that. How many of these tunnels exist under Berlin?
Hundreds of kilometers, connecting every important infrastructure point beneath the city. For example, train stations and airports.
When was this tunnel built, or tunnels like this?
In the early 30s, Hitler's plans were the bigger the better. And he planned to rebuild Berlin to the world capital. To bring, for example, to the palace of Hitler, you need a traffic system. Because of that, perhaps it was a certain friendship with Albert Speer, his famous architect. Many nights and days they sat together and planned the new world capital.
Wow.
Under Nazi rule, Berlin's underground was expanded to a sprawling web of 93 miles of interconnected tunnels and bunkers. This multi-story
It's
underground
insanity.
had independent power, heating, and ventilation.
3 floors too.
Hitler and Albert Speer built the underground city to move hundreds of thousands of people efficiently throughout Berlin. But once the war was over, these tunnels provided Nazis with safe shelter and a means of escape.
Look how dark it is. Shut your light off. And these tunnels go for miles.
The Russians had no map to know where the tunnels went. They knew the buildings and the streets, but not the subway system.
So they had no idea that the underground world existed in Berlin.
They had an idea that it is existing, but not at which track or line.
Wow. Boy, what a perfect escape route. In a subterranean environment like this, not knowing the lay of the land, it would be hell trying to find somebody. you could get lost for days, probably weeks down here. So you're up against it. It's dark. You don't know where you're going. And the people you're looking for are armed and extremely dangerous. What a perfect place for Hitler and Eva Braun to escape in.
With kilometers of tunnels, why a dictator with a vision of the world power commits suicide?
Yeah, makes no sense.
He has another focus and bigger plans.
There's no reason to commit suicide knowing the Russians were not going to come down there. Why would he kill himself? So was he able to escape?
Come on, we're almost done. Don't be a jerk.
And get out of Berlin? We're going to find out.
Next time on Hunting Hitler.
A German submarine?
That's the way I'd get there. Underwater, there's no way to detect these things. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
3 crew members clearly saw a submarine emerge and submerge.
What happened to the sub?
They don't know.
Find out where this leads. Look at this. Adolf Hitler, his mindset was escape, escape, escape. He's going to do whatever it takes.
Do you think Adolf Hitler was on one of these submarines?
As if a king had arrived.
Oh man, I got something right here. Holy. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
I was gonna say a sub.
And that's episode 2.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it? It's just wild.
It is.
No, it only digs further too. So it's one of those things that to see what happens. But trust me, it only dives deeper and it only gets more intense. So we're gonna wrap this up because I got another show to get to that started like 15 minutes ago, but I told him I was gonna be late.
Dang, and I wanted to ask you if you watched the documentary I sent you to last week. Iron Sky.
I guess no.
That's a movie. It's you punk ass.
Wait, I thought it was there are 2 documentaries. 2 of them.
Yeah. I looked that up last week. I looked that up. I'm like, that was like a movie. Anyway, so Mr. Clifton 3D.
Yeah. Right. Saying goodbye. Let's see. In a few hours, I'm going to be on Devil's Channel. We're ranking sci-fi shows, so that's going to be fun. Definitely go check that out.
Gonna be awesome.
Yeah, some awesome shows. Also, a lot of shows that I was like, really, I didn't even know this existed. So, looking forward to it. And then Monday, is for Mountain Time. I have my stream over on my channel. Anna's going to be there. Brandon, the anime guy, and Ronan. Maybe have a guest on. We'll see. Looking forward to that. And then Fridays on this guy's channel. Friday Night Rumble. So always go check us out. A lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a different kind of fun than this. This is more learning kind of fun and like holy shit. Speaking of Mr. Cluu, what you got going on, man?
What up, everybody? You can catch me on Twix at Cluu Channel and here on YouTube at the Cluu Channel. I will be in the chat for Star Trek Engage later on today. And then of course the Friday night Royal Rumble featuring Ryan and Screaming Into the Void featuring Samuel the Infamous.
Yes, indeed. And you can check me out on I'm getting ready to hop on Adam the Renaissance Nerds channel roundtable. So appreciate everybody watching. You guys are the best. This is a great episode. And we are going to hop out of here. So thank you for watching. Sorry for being late. That's on me. And we'll see you next week. Same time. See you guys.
Take care.
Peace.
There's not sufficient evidence that Hitler died in the bunker on April 30th, 1945.
Could Adolf Hitler have gotten out of Berlin, and how did he do it?
How did he enter Argentina?
We're going to look at who could facilitate hiding Hitler.
We need to take this out of the realm of hearsay and see what sort of technology we can bring. There are thousands of leads. It could